I'm Matt Bishar with NAREIT, and I'm in London for EPRA's annual convention. Joining me is Tim Pire, the Managing Director with Heitman. Tim, looking at the European market, where do you see the best real estate investment opportunities right now?
Well, I think from the best opportunity perspective, you have to look at it from a relative perspective, because I think there are a lot of issues that Europe is struggling through right now. But overall, when we look at real estate opportunities, it really falls into two classes. First, I think central London continues to do very well. And then also from a geographic area, you have to look at Germany. And we call it the derivative on Germany, but those countries located close to Germany, whether it's Switzerland, Austria, some of the Central European countries, but also the Nordic countries. The real estate markets have been strong, and the underlying economies have been stronger than the periphery.
Mm-hmm. And what about markets that perhaps are facing some of the biggest challenges in the near term?
Well, there's no question that when you look at the periphery of Europe, those are the countries that are struggling. So whether it's Ireland, Portugal, Spain, Italy or Greece, they are struggling in terms of what's going on in their economy and how that's having negative impacts in terms of employment and ultimately both real estate values and real estate fundamentals. So the periphery is definitely where we're seeing the most stress, which is no surprise, and so kind of limited opportunities till the situation starts to stabilize.
And we've done a couple of these interviews in the past where we really focused on kind of the U.S. market. But what impact do you think the expansion of REITs in Europe has had on the real estate investment market in that region?
Well, I think it's been positive, but I wish it would be more positive. The market would have grown more than it has, because I think it's a great vehicle in terms of giving individual investors and institutional investors a chance to invest in liquid real estate across a number of different markets they maybe would not have exposure to. So they can diversify property types, they can diversify from a geographic perspective, they can diversify relative to different strategies. So I think it's a great vehicle. It just has not grown the way we thought it would. And I think there are probably several things taking place that should help drive the market. I think REITs have done pretty well through the crisis and recovered pretty quickly. That's one. Two, we've had some new legislation in countries such as Italy, so we've had our first Italian REITs. So I think those are all positive things. We just need the industry to grow more in Europe.
And lastly, if I could just ask one question about the U.S. market, what's your opinion as to where prices are now, and is there room for growth still, or what's your outlook?
Overall, I think in the U.S., with the original pullback that we saw starting in July through kind of middle of August, REITs went to a discount NAV. The implied cap rates were quite attractive. So we saw kind of changes in capital markets that drove REIT prices lower. The fundamentals that should drive the value of real estate, yes, the growth rate probably is pulled back because the economy is a little bit weaker than we anticipated, but the strong capital flows into the sector from a real estate perspective should help support pricing. So I look at, we've had a move in the capital markets. Real estate fundamentals haven't moved that much, so NAVs probably have moved a little bit, but not as much as stock prices. So I think it creates potentially a good entry point to get into the sector, if you have a longer term view.
Great. Well, Tim, thank you very much for joining us.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Great. For more news about the international real estate market, be sure to visit REIT.com as well as EPRA.com.